Hello, this week I'm down at the YMCA, the world's largest and oldest youth charity, and they're asking politicians to sit up and listen to young people. Also this week, do you live in an area where the Greens have a say? Well, more of us do than ever before. But have you noticed any difference? And stay watching for some of the more bizarre ways our councils are trying to save money. Heads up, your local swimming pool could be a bit chillier. Mention the YMCA, and yes, we've all got that image in our heads and the song too. But park that, and did you know it's the world's largest and oldest youth charity, founded in 1844? What does it do? Well, it helps with housing, health and well-being, training and education, support and advice. And this week, it's waded into UK politics with a group of YMCA youth ambassadors going to Parliament to launch their manifesto. Among them, Jess Marriott. I went to meet her in a cafe run by the charity in Norwich.
Small Americano.
Hello, Jess. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. So how was Westminster this week? Tell me about it.
Westminster was absolutely amazing.
Was it?
I got the opportunity to meet with some different MPs and talk to them about the issues that are affecting young people.
And the most important question, did they listen?
Yeah, they did. A lot of young people don't feel listened to. So it was really important for young people to have the opportunity to go to the House of the Parliament and meet with them and speak to them about the issues that are affecting young people.
Yeah, well, look, I know you were there launching the manifesto, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a moment. But what's your story, Jess? Why did you first reach out to the YMCA for help?
I became homeless. I had my own place and I became homeless because of the cost of living. My rent went up and basically I couldn't afford to pay it anymore. So I had to reach out to the YMCA to put for housing.
And without that intervention, what would have happened? Would you have ended up on the streets, do you think?
Yeah, I would have ended up as being homeless again. Yeah.
And I know one bit of the manifesto is about housing, isn't it? It's something that YMCA.
Well.
So there was that in the manifesto. What else?
So access to good youth services, access to good quality education, financial support and mental health and well-being support.
Okay, so that's a big wish list.
Yeah.
I'm guessing government would say that wish list comes with a price tag as well. What reaction did you get in Westminster?
They seem to have listened to us, but it's actions rather than words, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I know you're 24 now. Have you always taken the opportunity to vote?
Yeah, I have. Ever since I've been old enough to vote, I've always voted myself. But a lot of young people don't because they don't feel like they are listened to or their vote counts.
So would you say that you're quite unusual among your peer group as someone that A, is interested in politics and B, actually votes?
Yeah.
How do we change that?
It's making it more appealing to young people, like making young people feel like as if their voices are worthwhile, doing things like this and inviting young people into the House of the Parliament so they can see what's going on for themselves.
Have you got any ambitions ever to go into politics or be an MP?
I'd quite like to. That would be quite a cool job.
Watch this space, the brilliant Jess Marriott. Now, that wish list, I know all three of you would agree that that is great. There are some really important things in their manifesto. But is it affordable? Alice, let me start with you. Let's start with affordable housing. Because as we know from Jess's own story, I mean, it was the YMCA, a charity, that basically had to go in and stop her from being homeless.
Yeah, and it is a combination of factors, as Jess touched on. The cost of living is obviously having an impact. It does go, and Labour has said, as part of our policy commitments, we have to get Britain building again, so having
But what
new
about
homes.
affordable housing?
Well, within that, we have also said the biggest boost to affordable housing. And you mentioned Norwich City Council earlier. Actually, one of the things they've really done is invest in council housing, but of course their hands are sometimes tied behind their backs because we have to change the whole planning system to enable it to be much easier to build housing and affordable housing within that. So it is absolutely something that we have got to focus on, and that is a priority for me, because this resonates with a lot of conversations I have with young people here, as well as the mental health point, which we may come on to.
Yeah, I mean, a 24-year-old woman who's engaged with politics, you can see it has ambitions, wants to do well, but finds herself unable to afford her rent and facing homelessness. That's not, one presumes, something that your government is proud of.
No, there's significant pressures around cost of living, and that includes rent. It includes people who want to try and get on a property ladder. It's a huge challenge there. We aren't building enough housing. But
Still. And you've been in government 13 years. I mean, we've had consecutive discussions on this programme about not enough housing.
We're not building enough housing, but probably somewhere where we're definitely not building enough housing is London, and the Labour Mayor of London was also found. But in terms of the YMCA Manifesto, I read that and I think it was a really worthwhile contribution. What I liked about it is it was practical, sensible solutions. Not all that cost a huge amount of money, actually. And some of the things it touched upon on skills and apprenticeships, we do need to do more to promote skills and apprenticeships. And when I've been to YMCA in Ipswich, I've had a lot of conversations around linking up young people in Ipswich with opportunities that exist in the local jobs market, but there doesn't always seem to be the signposting in place to do that.
Because what Jess was worried about is that she actually, had a great time in Westminster and felt there on that day she was being listened to, but words are one thing, she says, actions are another. So you're saying actually that manifesto wouldn't be too hard to fulfil, are you?
But But the other thing I liked about the YMCA manifesto is you said they sort of waded into politics, and yes, they did in a sense.
Yeah.
But actually, that manifesto is about practical, workable solutions.
Okay.
When I read that, it doesn't have a political axe to grind. Right. It's focused on trying to come up with practical solutions to make people's lives better.
Right. Well, Andy, let me ask you, what practical solutions are there for young people? I mean, I grew up in rural Suffolk, and even back then, there wasn't much around. I mean, youth services. What youth services have you on offer in mid-Suffolk?
We've got an excellent youth facility in Stowmarket, the Mix, and lots of other programmes. We've put over £500,000 worth of funding into youth facilities and supporting staffing in those. But overall, I'm aware that as a country, we've lost something like 1.1 billion in terms of youth funding, a 73% cut overall. So a lot of youth centres have closed. People have been made redundant, and that's mean a sort of a diminution in the amount of services that have been provided across the whole country. But it's really great to see that someone who's engaged in politics, I would encourage her to visit her local council and go along to council meeting and get stuck into stuff there as well. Yeah,
I mean, she really was. But Alice, as we heard, she is the exception, not the rule. I mean, it's something that Keir Starmer has said very clearly. Apathy, disillusionment with politics is going to be one of the biggest challenges that you face. How do we engage more people to be like Jess?
I think it's about listening to young people. I did a roundtable with another brilliant local charity, MAP, a few weeks ago with our shadow mental health minister, really talking to young people. And actually one of the young people said, just ask us if we're all right, ask the children if we're all right. And actually they were saying a lot of us aren't, and we have to listen to them. We have to show how we would change things for the better. And I have to say that there is a lot of feeling that there isn't lots of opportunity, and we've got to show that. And Labour launched our Youth Future programme, which has got a package of measures which addresses quite a lot of the things set out there, and I hope if Jess is in Norwich North, it'd be great to have a conversation with her.
OK, well, there's an offer then, Jess.